Good evening, everybody! It is Thursday, September the 5th, 2019, and this is your Mr. Video Game Live Super Show brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment! Woo! Everyone is so alive today, and Lady Merowyn just subscribed as our first subscriber. Thank you, Merowyn, for subscribing and letting the world know that we are finally a fucking affiliated channel and we've got all the forms filled out.
Woohoo!
Also want to let everybody here know that, all the people that are not here, but anyway... Let people know that we are moving to Monday, and I will say this several times, we're moving to Mondays at 8 p.m. instead of our normal Thursdays at 8 p.m. So we're going to be there instead of here, but we'll still be all the time on youtube.com/CBGP Games if you want to watch a rerun or what have you. Anyway, of course we have with us returning champions of Dead Sun Entertainment. Don't let him bogart your Nintendo Direct Switch SNES games. It's Brian, aka Wonder Boy.
Yes, SNES time, motherfucker.
Which I'll finally get to play after the stream is over because I forgot to recharge the thing and it's fucking dead. Holy shit.
I say that as the one person on this panel that does not have a Nintendo online account at the moment, so I can't take advantage of this. But
No, that would make two of us because I don't even have a Switch, dear.
One of two of us on the panel that doesn't have a Nintendo online account. But maybe that'll get rectified once we're done talking about the bullshit we got today.
IR Bad Gamer does not have Switch.
Oh, please, there's no such thing. Well, I was about to say there's no such thing as a bad gamer. That's wrong. There are plenty of bad gamers out there.
We'll talk about some bad gamers later in the show.
Don't we always?
And of course, her open world sandbox is honestly mostly coffee and cigarette stops. It's Lindsay aka Lady Merowyn!
That's so freaking fitting. I love it.
By the way, tossing out again, you want to watch the Mr. Video Game Live Super Show, we're going to Mondays. But, how's your weekend been? That good, huh?
It's been... The weekend was alright. The weekend was pretty cool. You know? Like, it was just, let's watch some wrestling, let's chill, let's have a completely normal thing where you're not in the news. I'm not going to comment on that right now, but...
We'll worry about that later.
Let's put it this way. There's a company that's maybe fucking up a little bit. They might pay me money. So... Later on, not right now. Anyway, so...
Yeah, you should always pay a Wonder Boy, because, you know, I've totally paid you the last year of the show.
You should pay multiple Wonder Boys, I would say. The one that's talking on the microphone right now. Anyway, that being said, that being done, like, yeah, it was all right, you know. Just, I dug into that new Dark Crystal prequel that's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah?
That series, that is right up my fucking alley. That show is great. I'm only about halfway through right now, but it is satisfying that weirdly dark and like slightly puppet gory kind of show.
Nice.
That you would expect from Jim Henson Company. That show goes that show goes some really odd places sometimes, but Mark Hamill voices one of the I don't know how familiar you are with the Dark Crystal, either of y'all are.
Kinda. Sorta.
Does the name Skeksis mean anything to you?
Yep, creepy bird-like things.
Okay, Mark Hamill plays one of the Skeksis in this thing, and he fucking steals every scene he is in.
Doesn't he always, though?
God damn it. It's like the Joker, but like way more. Like in terms of his voice acting. It is so good. It is sublime. Uh, but yeah, that and a bunch more Fire Emblem. That's been my week basically.
You want to know
Just
what?
that. Sorry.
You want to know what I did this weekend?
What do you do?
Literally sat on the couch and did nothing but played Control all fucking weekend. And it looks like the person playing it must have also played it on the PlayStation 4. I don't recommend that as a scenario to do, because playing on the PlayStation 4 means incredibly long and tedious moments of slowdown that suck all of the ass. If you have a gaming rig worth playing video games on, play it on the computer. I do not. My computer sucks ass. I played it on the PlayStation. It is, however, a wonderful game full of weird Stephen King-y bullshit, and this lady goes through all sorts of things that make no sense in a Super Metroidvania 3D style game. I don't know how 3D and Metroidvania come together, but they kind of did with Control. I like a game that can be creepy but not frightening. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, more like intensity rather than blah.
yeah, like there's a whole lot of weird existential crises that go on in Control. And it's fun, and it's one of the very few games out there to have a really fucking cool female protagonist, so, kudos, I guess, for that. Also, Ati here is best boy. You will love him. He is good man.
Like the more I see of this game, the more I want to play it, even though I can't play it because I have a PlayStation 4 and I don't have a good enough computer, so I really don't want to play this game right now, unfortunately. But everything I've seen looks great. Like Remedy, they have a pedigree for these sort of things. The graphics look awesome. They are perfectly capable of developing some very odd imagery. The more I look at this game, especially in terms of like some of the action stuff, the more it just reminds me that this company made Alan Wake, and that's not a bad thing at all. I loved Alan Wake.
That's actually something cool about this game. If you look really closely, you're going to see some very interesting tie-ins to Alan Wake.
Yeah, I never played Alan Wake, and considering that's like a 10-year-old game, I'm a little worried about coming in and like coming into the middle of last gen experience and feeling a little underwhelmed there. But I'm going to give it a try, I think, because didn't Epic put it out for free?
They did. Peter actually ripped through it on his stream, and it's a trip and a half.
Yeah.
Even now, it is still a trip and a half.
Yeah. And it's not even that long of a game either. Like, I finished it in like one like long night. Like, I finished it like 6 or 7 hours. So
nice. As much as I'd love to go and play that, I just also picked up Catherine and River City Girls, so.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'll be talking about next week.
I'm glad that you reminded me that came out, because I need that in my life. I need that sort of positivity and face punching.
I have heard multiple reviewers at this point say that it is the best beat 'em up, like, incidents.
Good. I'm totally down for that.
So, Lady Merowyn, what you been up to?
Well, this weekend, Playwatch and I ripped through the entirety of the first season of Carnival Row. I liked it. I really liked it. I want more. Second season now, please.
What is that show about? I've seen like the poster and that's it. I know nothing about the show.
Think of it as Bright you know, that Will Smith movie,
Yeah.
meets Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Okay.
So it's very much your mythological creatures versus humans in a steampunk Victorian London-ish section.
Okay.
Yeah. But by way of games, I've been playing this, which is Death Road to Canada, because Canadian, and I like zombies. It's fun. It's hard. It's chaotic. But it's a lot of fun. So much fun. It's very much a roguelike. Think what's it called? That Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail. Yeah.
The Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah.
Because zombies.
Mm.
But you actually get to play versus it just being a mud.
Also, hey Selwyn, how you doing?
You've got to manage your party and their moods and their health, plus your weaponries, your supplies, your gas, everything. Like, basically, the zombie apocalypse happened. You've heard there's safety in Canada. Get to Canada. I put like 2 hours into this game. I did not make it to Canada.
Despite already being in Canada.
Yeah. It was like, I just want to go home.
I remember when this game came out last year and being like curious about it, but never really getting my hands on it. So I'm glad to hear that it's pleasing you at least.
I grabbed it on Steam. It was like less than $10.
Yeah.
Like Canadian, so it's like $5 for you guys. It's worth it for something just as a time sink, dick around with it kind of game. It is just stupidly fun. Loot all the things, smash all the zombies, try not to die. Because like your party members can die, and you can continue on solo and pick up more party members as you go. It does not end until you are dead.
Yeah, this is definitely something at some point I need to pick up. And also the Secret of Mana collection. And the HD remake of Secret of Mana 3. And Jesus fucking Christ, there's too many video games!
There's
And
always
just
going
think-
to be too many video games, Travis.
1 month until Broketober.
Oh,
Dude.
it's already started. I picked up 3 video games this week, and that's to hold me over until the Zelda game comes out.
Look at Mr. Made of Money over here. Look at Mr. Money. I bought 3 video games. Sorry.
All right.
I lash out when my emotions are frayed.
All right.
I will say one more thing about Death Road to Canada real quick. Also, like the company that made it, I believe the developer is called Rocket Cat Games. They are good people, very good people, because whenever this game was slated to be released on consoles last year in April, they delayed it after that attack in Toronto where the dude drove his car onto the sidewalk into a crowd of people. They actually took it upon themselves to delay the game because they felt like it didn't feel like the right environment to release it under. So these are people that definitely take into account the people that are playing their games and the community around them whenever they're developing their avoid the zombies and get to Canada A game. So good on them, and they're the kind of company that I do enjoy giving my money to.
Hell yeah. It is, Death... Rocket Cat Games. Anyway. Shall we get to the actual news today?
Yes.
We've got a strange roller coaster of a day for you today. But of course, what every fucking person on the internet is talking about, because they brought video games back to the mainland finally after a long drought. Of course, we're talking about the Nintendo Direct. And before it even fucking took place, The beginning of it was already leaked, as information on Overwatch had already been coming out. There were, of course, the Amazon accidentally putting up information on, Amazon. And then European retail leaks, and you might as well know it comes out on October 18th, and it was finally confirmed officially during the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I believe like the Amazon item that got everybody talking was a Nintendo Switch case with the Overwatch logo on the front of it.
Yeah, you can't get more obvious than that, than an item that is obviously real getting put up and then taken down very quietly with no one noting that it was ever up.
I mean, it was kind of a given that this was going to hit the Switch. But at the same time, I'm looking at the update that they added to this article saying that it's got gyro controls, and that will drive me insane.
Oh God, you immediately have taken my interest away from buying Overwatch on the Switch now.
You can still use the normal controls.
That's fine, but if it's like modified sorry, I clicked the thing. If it's modified to where like just kind of like built more for that, then it's going to suffer in some ways. I don't think it will be, obviously, but like there's just something about I don't know. Maybe I'm just like being my stubborn self here and just being blah. But like no, like yeah, if you have an option to turn it off, that's perfectly fine. You know, but I don't know. That just I hate. I understand that works for Splatoon. Splatoon is the only game that control mechanism has ever worked for in terms of a shooter. So
fair enough.
Good on them. Forgive them. Honestly, it's actually I'm going to reverse course wholly. It's actually pretty smart to include that control scheme in the game because a lot of people, Splatoon is really the only shooter that they play on that system.
Mm-hmm.
So keep maintaining that familiarity. Actually, is a good move for Blizzard releasing that onto the Switch.
It's smart for them, even if it might suck for you, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. I hate that stupid.
And of course, the big what the fuck moment of the whole thing, because we're going to go a little bit out of order here. Terry fucking Bogard of Fatal Fury fame is the next fighter for Super Smash Brothers.
This is both odd and great.
It's fan-fucking-tastic on a level because I know a lot of old SNK fans suddenly shit their pants today, or yesterday, as it were.
Yeah.
And seeing, like, a classic guy if you know SNK games, but if you're outside of Japan and weren't into the arcade scene in the early to mid-90s, you might not have a fucking clue who Terry Bogard is. And even if you were, it's not like Neo Geo was a thing, but not like a thing. Sort of.
You're definitely not wrong. Like the Neo Geo console definitely was a thing that was not a thing, in a lot of ways. But I still have like huge regard for those old Neo Geo arcade cabinets where you had the 4 games built into it, which usually came with a version of Art of Fighting.
I was screaming at my computer, please be Metal Slug, and they didn't even acknowledge. And I was angry and upset.
No, like this is a perfect move. If you're gonna have Ryu in your game, you need to have the golden boy of SNK, the other side of the fighting game, like world in there also. And Terry Bogard, he is the face of the King of Fighters franchise. Bar none.
I was just glad when Mai did not pick it up. I was just, no, 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 no!
She could be an assist. You never know.
True.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about this, though, is that it opens up that SNK library possibly to even more additions. As if you need anything else in Smash Ultimate. But it's another library to explore and to pick out different figures that would fit into that game going forward. And honestly, it's just another banger for DLC. Like everything's been really good from what they've announced for DLC so far, from Joker to Banjo Kazooie to Terry Bogard. I know there's been some talk about there's been a lot of people being like, put Crash Bandicoot in it, and I'm like, I don't know about that one, but hey, who knows? World's upside down.
The fact that they're opening the game up to so many different franchises too, like, could you not see them starting to throw Blizzard characters in there?
If Blizzard would let them, they would totally do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Just wreck faces Diablo.
And after the direct took place, my actual call for that 5th spot, and who knows who the fuck is going in that spot now, fucking Sans from Undertale is a Mii fighter. He's a skin, and he looks like a Chinese bootleg knockoff.
He's too smooth.
Look at that smooth boy.
He's just too smooth. In many ways. But also his skull. His skull is too smooth. It needs edges. It's like what they did to the Mercury Cougar.
They should have gone with him like what they did with Mr. Game & Watch and some of the original ones, like the earlier versions of Smash, where they made him 2D in a 3D world.
You're gonna have to excuse me for just a second. There is a link I have to click on the side. There's a fucking Celeste DLC coming out.
Oh yeah, I think I haven't heard the official announcement about it yet, but I've heard some rumblings.
It is coming on September 9th, the final chapter to Celeste. Fuck off. Okay.
For free.
For free.
Yes.
Okay. So, hey, another thing I'll be doing this fucking weekend.
Breaking news. More Celeste.
But anyway, back to the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, but it was the only way they could have done it, because it's not actually Sans, it's a costume for your Mii fighters that you can wear, but also there's a song from Undertale that's going to be in the game, and
which is too perfect, because that soundtrack is banging.
So let's just go through the whole direct now that we've gone backwards and forwards over the whole Nintendo Direct. Don't even fucking worry about it. Fucking beautiful.
We haven't gotten to my favorite part yet.
So to start off, that's okay. Anyway, Super Nintendo Entertainment System comes to the Switch. Finally, all of your belly aching on Twitter has come to rest, and you can stop tweeting back at Nintendo every time they release an update. Why are you putting out the SNES? They gave you 20 games. 20 whole fucking games at the same time. We can all finally shut the fuck up.
Did one of those have to be Earth Defense Force?
EDF! EDF!
Yes, it did.
The world is terrible.
Look, all you gotta tell me is A Link to the Past is in there, and of course you've got like an extra 60 fucking hours by putting Breath of Fire fucking in there.
Yeah. No, honestly, it's a really good lineup of their first-party stuff from that system.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty much all the heavy hitters of the early days of the system. You know, Kirby's Dream Land 3, special mention. Mm-hmm. So no, I like that lineup. It makes me interested to see if I want to sign up for a Nintendo Online account later today.
And of course this means I have to play A Link to the Past yet the fuck again all the way through, because that's who I am and it's what I do.
You do you.
And of course, Kirby's Dream Course. I kind of wish that I was still into the altered substances now, because I can imagine sitting down with friend Hollis, friend of the show, playing Kirby's Dream Course and just kind of going off to a magic land. God, that game's good. Anyway, of course, yeah, we mentioned Terry Bogard. and good old Tokyo Mirage Sessions that I knew jack shit about, to be real with you, before this. I didn't know it was originally a Wii U game, but there you go. It's a combination of Fire Emblem and Persona.
Yeah, it's an odd thing that is beautiful in a lot of ways, and one of the main reasons why I never fucking touched it is because it was on the Wii U. So I've seen like the memes going around since this announcement. A bunch of people were just like, after seeing this, like, well, I finally have to old yeller my Wii U because there's no other game to hold on to in this thing anymore.
Mario 3D World. That's it.
There's no other game from this system to hold on to anymore. But no, like Tokyo Mirage Sessions is an outstanding looking game. And you know, as a fan of both, as a previously a fan of Persona and now a converted fan of Fire Emblem, I need my hands on this game even more than I thought I did a few years ago when it came out.
And continuing down the aisle of what the fuck are you even doing? Deadly fucking Premonition is coming! It's already there! You can get it now! And next year there'll be a Deadly Premonition 2! Deadly Premonition 2.
That's what my favorite part of the Nintendo Direct was.
Cats and dogs are living together now! There is chaos!
Oh my god, okay. Deadly Premonition is one of my favorite games I have ever played. It is what, like many other people, is indoctrinated me into the religion of swearing 65. And I swear to God, I have played every game that he has made since, and I look forward to every game that he has made since. And to know that he is getting to go back to this world and do more with it, as if he didn't do enough with it already. Oh my God, I'm over the moon with this. I cannot wait.
My favorite part is on the press release for Deadly Premonition, they mentioned the IGN 2.5 rating.
Yep.
The balls on these people.
They give no fucks.
And yeah, Assassin's Creed shit, I don't... Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Okay. We're just going down the list of what the fuck. Okay. So all of the Xenoblade.
Popular.
Yeah, suppose so. But you can get all of your Xenoblade now. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition.
Okay, this was the one that I did not understand why people weren't freaking out about, because that game has not been off of PC at all. Like, that game has been PC only for the last year, I think maybe 2 years since it came out. So, like, it coming to Switch is a huge deal for an RPG that has been heralded as, like, one of the best of all time.
And the fact that it's supporting cross saves between Steam and Switch is glorious. Like, I've played Divinity Original Sin 2. It is incredible. If you haven't played it, go do it. What are you waiting for? Do the thing now.
It is by far one of the deepest RPGs that I have seen in like 20 years.
Speaking of RPGs, Game Freak is coming out with a new RPG called Little Town Hero. That the score is made by Toby fucking Fox. Do you think Toby Fox was sitting at home watching this Nintendo Direct and just like shitting grins out as he was watching this? Like, my boys in Smash Brothers and I made the soundtrack to an entire Game Freak video game.
He was talking on Twitter during the Direct.
I did see that. And
yeah.
He was very humbled that Sakurai even mentioned that he was hanging out with the Toby Fox. Oh, sounded juicy on you there.
Sorry.
You're good.
Did I not hit my cough button? I thought I hit my cough button. I feel embarrassed. Wow. No, like this looks fun, and I'm so glad they changed the name of this game, because just calling this town like they unveiled at E3, like just I mean, Little Town Hero is not the best name in the world, but it's better than just town.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit more life. Like, my least favorite thing about Control, to be honest with you, is the fact that the name is so fucking generic that looking up anything about the game is a feat. The number of times that I got Home Depot, hey, I'm not trying to clean my house. Also, Bethesda is re-releasing Doom 64.
I'm actually really happy about that.
Explain yourself.
Okay, well, all right, look. Doom, when you figure, Doom was the game that shaped FPSs as we know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that us three grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got all of these kids now that play like Fortnite and all of your battle royales and have no idea the history of where it came from.
But there is Doom 1 and 2 and 3 on there, which are, the better Dooms.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Doom 64 had slightly more updated graphics, which might draw the kids in more. Because kids these days are about pretty versus substance for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about this, though, is that this might be one of the first instances of someone making or like remaking a non-first party Nintendo 64 game. I know that somebody made like an updated version of GoldenEye at some point.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't the actual.
Terrible. But like this could actually usher in a new wave of revisiting the Nintendo 64 in some ways. Who knows?
You think a Nintendo 64 Mini, that this is maybe their slow soiree into that?
I'm kind of at the point where I don't need another mini thing. Personally.
Fair. But moving on, with the fucking weirdest Nintendo Direct I've ever seen. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. I know this was a much beloved game, but of all the games I expected an HD re-release for, it was not Jedi Outcast.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that this is clearly just one of those goodwill things. I think, because there's really not a better way to play this game now. I think there's a version on Steam.
Mm-hmm. But
If I'm not mistaken, but that's really the only one. So it makes sense. Like it's a goodwill gesture in a lot of ways.
And of course, we get to the drop-ins that Nintendo had already told us. Basically, like Kirby Clash, a free-to-play 4-player game, so local, online, couch co-op, all there for you. Luigi's Mansion 3, you can also play multiplayer if you want to. You can play in arena-style ghost battles. Pokemon Sword and Shield got blah, 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 blah. I don't care about Pokemon. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
And Animal Crossing also got itself a update that you can do materials and you can craft shit. So it's basically Minecraft, but also Animal Crossing, and some people just lost 2 months of productivity already before the game even came out.
Yeah. Real quick, I would like to note that the ability to eat curry with my Pokemon is very important to me, because curry is very good.
Ah, yeah, save them in your curry decks.
Yes, hashtag curry decks.
I'm sorry, Merwin. I thought I heard you chiming in for a second there.
I was gonna say, I mean, with the whole nobody cares about Pokemon Sword and Shield, you just killed like so many potential viewers. They're
I
never gonna tune in.
know! I know people love Pokemon and cannot wait for Sword and Shield, and I would love to have that feeling inside of me when a new Pokemon comes out. But I'm like, you already gave us the best boys with Gen 1, so what am I supposed to do? I don't have a reason to care. I don't want any more little boys.
Yeah,
That's a
I
drop.
mean, even I'll admit, like Pokemon Go, I was thrilled when I could catch the original 151. Now I don't know half of the things I'm poking at anymore, and I mean, I'm dead certain I can hear my sister's fiance screaming in agony and not knowing why right now. But he has owned and played every fucking Pokemon game since launch.
Oh, without a doubt in my mind, Josh is currently screaming at me right now, and excuse me while I dip off the camera for just a second here, but... Okay, we kept from going offline. Yay!
Hooray!
Yeah, I can hear Josh in the very next room screaming curses at my very name because he adores the Pokemon, but I can't summon a fuck. From the deepest of my fuck chamber, there is no fucks to give over this, and I wish I could.
So this is a case of behold the field where I grow my fucks. Note that it is barren.
Indeed, but you know, there's people out there that are super excited. I know several of them, and I am an old man who cannot keep up with the children. Uh. Yes. And finally, Trials of Mana, the remake of Seiken Dietsu 3. So Secret of Mana 3 will be completely remade and much prettier April 24th, 2020. Neat.
Nice. Don't forget about that release of Return of the Obra Dinn, though.
Hell yeah! Game sweet as fuck.
Yeah, that thing is coming to the Switch in the fall, and I cannot wait. That game is rad. From the maker of Papers, Please, another rad game. This is one that I've been wanting to get my hands on. I stayed off of it on PC just because one, poor, and two, I was afraid that it wouldn't run on PC, even with the way the graphics are.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been excited for this one, and I'm glad that it's making it easier for me to get my hands on.
And there's been some other indies, Rogue Company, another Daemon Ex Machina. Oh, and Tetris 99 is getting an Invictus mode for only the best of the best players. So if you've won a Tetris 99, first off, tell me how. Secondly, you can play this mode, and it's even harder because everyone's already won the game before too.
Cool. I might download this Daemon Ex Machina demo just because I really want to see what that game has under the hood. I'm not usually a mech game guy, but this one looks crazy enough that I might try it. I'm broadening my horizon.
Fair enough.
Yes.
But that was our Nintendo Direct, but Nintendo apparently isn't fucking done yet. We have the oddest looking fucking thing that I've ever seen Nintendo put out, and that is saying something. It is a big old rubber band in a circle with places to put your Switch and leg bands to put on your legs. It is clearly the whatever comes after the Wii Fit. Look at this. This is definitely Wii Fit, but also.
Wait, so this is a Wii Fit that you can't cheat with? Damn it.
Yeah, no more banging the pad. You gotta do the thing now.
Because, I mean, the Wii's motion controls were great. I knew somebody who, like, top ranked all of Just Dance and never left his couch. So
Nice.
it's doable. I wouldn't have believed if I hadn't seen it myself, but it is doable.
Look at all these happy people doing dances.
This is at least like pretty inventive for what you can do with the mobility of the Switch's hardware.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know about how many times can you squeeze it? Keep squeezing it. Exercise. You can't see me when I'm squeezing it as I'm sitting here while I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know about that one in particular, but this looks like something for depending on how much it costs. Like I like doing yoga. I wouldn't mind doing yoga with my Switch.
Yeah, if it was like the Labo cost, I'm okay. I could pick it up. And besides, I need some reason to lose all of this that's going on. So, hey, if the Switch can help out with my daily exercises, cool.
Yeah, it's better than that balance board.
Oh, that balance board that I have that's been gathering dust for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But see, I'm a perpetual cynic because I looked at that and I watched the one lady do the squeeze it as many times as you can, as fast as you can thing. And all I can see is all of the lawsuits coming as somebody squeezes it too hard, the band snaps and smacks people in the face.
Oh yeah, just like when people broke their TVs with the Wiimotes.
Yeah, except now it's going to be personal injury, not just property.
Alright, we've spent a good 40 minutes filleting Nintendo. You want to go on to actual stories? Hey.
Those weren't actual stories.
I mean, yeah, but also I am a little tired of sucking Nintendo dick. So let's talk about the stories that we've talked about before. Some follow ups.
Yes, of which there are plenty.
Good old Starbreeze. They put in for another extension with the native country to allow themselves to continue to exist as a business because reasons. But yeah, in Sweden, if you fuck up, you can just be absolved, and they're trying real hard to hold on to their fact that they exist, despite the fact that The Walking Dead kinda sucked.
Kinda sucked.
Whole lot of sucked.
Overkill's The Walking Dead. Overkilled that company. I am probably the 100,000th person to make that joke, but I don't care. No, like so basically, this is their. But if they are granted this, it would be their third appeal, or their third extension. I'm sorry. And what's funny is that extension would carry up to December 3rd, 2019, the 1-year anniversary of when it first applied for its first extension.
It is the Brexit of video games.
It just seems to me like they're flogging a dead horse at this point. Like, just let it die. Just let it die.
I mean, they've been trying to sell off all these different sides of the company to try and get this thing to become solvent in a lot of ways, but they just can't find anything. And even if you do end up gaining some stability there, what are you leaving yourself to operate with in a lot of ways? Starbreeze is not going to be the company that it once was if you sell off all of these subsidiaries. Yes, I agree, Diablo Graves. It probably just needs to die and just move on in a lot, which is terrible because a lot of people will lose jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That is the other side of this, the very human side of it, is that because of their ineptitude financially, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs if it does go down. But even if it doesn't go down, a lot of people are going to.
A lot of people already lost their jobs.
Yeah, a lot of people did, and so we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen here. But if this company does move past all of these issues, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly what they are afterwards.
True.
I'm predicting if they get granted this extension again. Come December, they'll apply for another. Then come E3 2020, we'll see a new game coming from Starbreeze.
I don't think they can do another extension, right? Isn't it 3 strikes you're out?
Well, that's baseball rules. I don't know, honestly. I say that because I don't know. I don't know if there is a limit. It might just be at the discretion of the Stockholm District Court, which I can't imagine them, honestly, granting them a 4th extension.
I couldn't imagine them granting this extension, but here we are.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's very surprising if they did do that, but this can't be an infinite thing. This has to end at some point, one way or the other.
True, and by the way, while people are chatting in our chat room, I feel like it is my duty to remind people that we are moving to Mondays at 8 p.m. instead of the regular Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, whatever the hell time zone you're in. So update your calendars, bookmark the website, everyone just come in on Monday and we'll be here again.
Time is a construct.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I interrupted that. Nah, I ain't got shit.
Alright. I don't know, Lens, anything else in Starbreeze?
I mean, I think this is going to be a thing that they might just go, you know what, let's do it again. And then somebody sick and sadistic is just going to sit there and keep allowing them to extend and extend and extend and sit and laugh at how badly they're scrambling.
I would love to see that, actually. Just keep them alive forever and just watch them scramble like mice. So, moving on to sad news. I want you to brace yourself for this because your heart can't take it. I know mine couldn't. I cried when I saw this. Ikumi Nakamaru has left Bethesda. She's not making Ghostwire Tokyo anymore. Our darling dancing girl.
I cried when I saw this too. It's just, no. She was the best part of E3.
Remember her as she was, dancing on stage and being mildly awkward, but also a bastion for her own strange awkwardness as well.
And remember, Ghostwire Tokyo is spooky.
Yes. Very spooky.
She has worked on such games as Okami, Bayonetta, and Resident Evil 2, and Lord knows she will continue to make all of the weird shit, I am very sure. She even linked her LinkedIn so that people could keep up with what the fuck she's planning. There you go. That is her LinkedIn, and you can follow her. And maybe she'll get a new job somewhere else, and, you know, be awesome and do a tiny dance for us and make us happy. Please, Ikumi, please? It's enough chilling and shame on my family for one day.
It's alright, she'll land on her feet.
I am certain of it. I don't think she would have quit if she didn't already have, maybe not already plans, but this is somebody that's going to be desired out there in the game industry world. She's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got my vote just for having worked on Okami. That game was fucking gorgeous.
The real question in this is where it leaves Ghostwire Tokyo, because that game is likely close to being done.
Mm-hmm.
At least on the downhill side of things, at least towards being done. And she was basically the creative director on that game, so her leaving could point to that game being a lot closer to being done than we all expected.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could also mean that there might be some problems going on with development
I hope not.
at Tango. I hope not, but you never know.
We'll find out. But our last follow-up story, more of an interesting one, really. Kotaku and Nathan Grayson got to have an interesting conversation with a Valve developer, I believe nameless. I did not see his name anywhere in here. About the whole Epic Store controversy and the fact that they marked it as unfair practice was kind of the start of this whole oh my god fucking kill Epic thing that's been going on, and why they've decided to stay so quiet for obvious reasons, because they don't want people to keep losing their shit and review bombing everything when they don't have that same animosity, despite the fact it's their fucking store. But it's a cool article. Obviously, we don't have the time to go over and read all of it, but it gives you an idea of what's going on in the minds of the people and developers that work at Valve. So, yeah.
Like reading some of the comments from Nathaniel Blue, who is a business developer and designer for Steam in this, like, it's really interesting. It's like he basically defends Steam's statement whenever all of this was going down, the one that basically mobilized a lot of the Steam fan base to like rain down lava and spitfire on a lot of people that worked on Metro Exodus for going exclusive with the Epic Store for a while. It just kind of speaks to like maybe people not understanding exactly the power that they wield in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially whenever you are basically the monopoly for PC Store. Like you are really the only place that a majority of the gaming public comes to and knows at face value. So whenever you use words like unfair, no matter what the context is, everyone else will internalize that and spit that back out in ways that you definitely probably don't mean to happen. Because everyone's definition of unfair and an apt response to something that they deem unfair is different. I know that I think his quote was, "It wasn't the intent of the message; it was more about the timing. The game was about to launch, and then it was exclusive to Epic Store, so that was the only goal of that." In reference to using the word unfair in their statement. It wasn't meant to be this lightning rod. Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe Blue when he says that it wasn't meant to be that lightning rod. But the thing is, because of a poor word choice, and also honestly, just in a way, the tone of that statement overall turned it into a lightning rod and mobilized a group of people that do not have the same desire to hold back or to like pinpoint the target or aptly critique certain things. They just want to firebomb shit.
Yeah, some people just want to watch the world burn, and that's the shittiest part of this whole thing, is that they just kind of want to see what happens and how many people they can piss the fuck off.
Yeah.
Do we have to move on to the next article? I think we could just call this Mr. Video Games for the day. I think we're fine, right?
We gotta...
Okay. Strap in, boys. We're following up from last week's article. Who's excited to talk about suicide? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
What nobody expected after last week's drop of Alec from Nine in the Woods and all that, was for him to take all of this very much to heart and basically kill himself. And his sister spoke up and said that, the guy had a lot of emotional issues that he was trying to deal with, but had never been the best person that he could be. And a lot of people had spoken up about various things that Alec had done. And that she has no ill will towards Zoe Quinn, but of course, the internet has become a furious hate mob saying that Zoe Quinn killed a man.
Because that is, of course, the natural reaction for the internet to have towards a person who is a credible victim of sexual assault and rape.
Yeah, direct from his own sister. In fact, a direct quote. And in case it's not fucking obvious, Alex specifically said he wished the best for Zoe and everyone else, so don't use our grief as an excuse to harass people. Go outside, take care of someone, and works towards preventing these kinds of things from happening in the first place. I don't know if I can be as gracious as Miss Holowka is, but goddamn. I've watched the internet this week be a weird fucking hate-fueled mob towards a lot of people, honestly, I respect. And, man, this one has really fucking put me in a sour mood because this is a whole lot of garbage. And, yeah, Zoe had all right to speak on this. And it kind of spiraled the fuck out of control. If people hadn't started to rage bomb the dude, yeah, maybe be angry, but Zoe Quinn specifically said, no ill wills towards Alec. I need to get this out, to get this off of my chest. And fucking she would have honestly no reason to lie, especially now to make her life the absolute fucking worst. So there you go.
Yeah, the main thing with this right now is that a lot of those terrible people on the internet have been basically saying that the Me Too movement has a body count, which is one of the most crass things that you can use when talking about this sort of thing. Zoe Quinn coming clean about what happened to her at the hands of Alec Holowka did not kill Alec Holowka.
No.
Guilt, emotional stress, depression, mental illness, a clear attitude of unhappiness with himself. Overall, that's what led him to this. I wish it hadn't. I really do. But you cannot put this at Zoe Quinn's feet, obviously.
Yeah, here is clearly someone who did not deserve this. But, yeah.
No. I would, what was that you just threw in the Discord there, Linz?
It's a tweet I came across today from my sister, and it kind of sums up, like, a lot of this bullshit without actually even referencing it. We're actually right on the cusp of Suicide Prevention Awareness Week. And she basically just says, be kind, you know? Listen to one another. You never know what someone else is going through, you know? And yeah, he had some really serious accusations leveled against him. But there's... You gotta treat people like people. still treat people like treat people.
Yeah, and the people doing this, let's be real, they're not making this about Alec. They're not even making this about Zoe. They're making this about their own hate-filled nerd boners. It's the best way I can fucking put this. And it's not really helping anybody.
No, but I mean, none of those sentiments ever really help anybody. It doesn't stop them from happening, unfortunately.
But of
I don't know.
course, it's worth mentioning, just like they do at the end of the PC Game article. There are services out there: National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Crisis Services Canada, Samaritans, Lifeline. If you're in any of the countries where you might really be listening to this show, you probably have a suicide prevention service, something there to help you through those times. So, yeah.
Definitely.
And as I've learned as well, Kids Help Phone, not just for kids. It's actually, they will provide support for adults and young adults, and they have a 24/7 texting service. I have actually used them myself. They are phenomenal. Because when you are crisising and it is 4 in the morning and your local crisis line does not open till 9 a.m., you look for anything you can, and honestly, they were stellar. I'm trying to find it in my text history, but it doesn't look like it's there anymore.
No worries. While you look for that, I would also suggest reading the piece written by Scott Benson, one half of the co-creators of Night in the Woods, who worked with Alec Holowka for the past 6 years. He wrote something on Medium. I'm going to post a link in the chat here for anyone who wants to check it out. Basically detailing his relationship with Alec, the issues that he experienced knowing Alec, and just kind of like a very thought-provoking look into his relationship with Alec. And just basically him getting stuff off his chest, because it looks like there was definitely some problems between them as well. Like, there's a reason why Scott did not take very long to believe the accusations against Holowka whenever they came out last week. So it's a little lengthy, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. It's a minute, but also worth it, right? It's Scott Benson has never, from what I can tell of seeing him, at least on Twitter, been someone to be of few words. So, him putting out a half-hour read makes all the sense to me.
And if you don't put all that dialogue in Night in the then throw out a 2-tweet response.
Very true. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to put out one that is just the internet being classic internet. This is the dumbest bullshit I've seen this week, and you might think wasn't the last thing the dumbest bullshit you've seen this week. It's such a non-issue, but it also just kind of summarizes my feelings on the internet. So you may know Final Fantasy VIII just re-released with high res, and a whole lot of people lost their fucking shit over this image of a resprited monster who was given a bit more skirt to cover up her metallic.
Everything?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Chad. The video game monster will not fuck you. And it looks better. I remember looking at the left-hand side and being like, that just kind of fucking looks stupid. Why does she have half a skirt? She has a whole skirt now. It looks fucking normal.
But censorship.
Yeah, the internet has cried out over censorship of Final Fantasy VIII. And this is the most... I think Matt Nerdskull called it a -3 on the fucks given scale.
Yeah.
But then you have this to complain about. That's my palate cleanser. That's your bite of ginger after that spicy wasabi we just ate.
I'm so done with these fuckboys on the internet that are complaining about somebody changing, like, desexualizing a character, even though the character is still overtly sexualized, but just making it a little bit more palatable in a way. And anybody revisiting something to reimagine it and putting together, like, a new interpretation of a character's presentation. We can't do any of that. We can't have creative license because that's just censorship. Everything has to be the fucking same that it was back before we understood, social norms, or developed our social norms to a much more progressive stance. You know, where we don't have to have a woman, a clearly fairy woman's vagina just hanging out for everyone to Google at while you're trying to throw fireballs at it.
But Brian, the ethics board at Square Enix has gone too far. First they took Tifa's tits away from us. Now we get this. What are they going to do? Go back and censor Final Fantasy IV? Oh, right.
I would argue that these two things, Tifa and this, are way more realistic, and I'm sure that we have, Lindsay can weigh in on this, but like Tifa in a sports bra, a bit more realistic. A fairy woman not just having their vagina out, way more realistic.
And I mean, as a female who plays primarily female characters in fantasy games, I have 2 words for all of the fuckboys who are losing their shit over this. Bikini male. The armor that fits a male character and covers him from head to toe is a goddamn plate mail bikini on a female model. Is that not enough?
All right. I'm done chewing on the ginger. That I could have phrased that better.
Phrasing. But
we move on to the reviews are in. Gears of War 5 seems to be fairly fucking positive out there. A lot of people comparing it to Gears of War 4, but better and better ideas and better narrative. Even the people who are negative on this, and I especially love this article. I was originally going to go with the Metacritic, but just some of these are great. This is not Gears of Skyrim or Assassin's War. It's more of an open hub akin to Destination and Destiny, where there's no real need to explore because while the map is big, it is not packed with secrets to uncover. Rather, it is a place safe for surfing to and from objectives, marveling at the impressive visuals and listening to the Delta banner. But it is right to say that this is different for Gears of War, and while this is no revolution for video games, it is a significant evolution for Gears 5, and I found myself enjoying my surf in the cold.
Yeah, everything that I have seen from Gears 5 so far, even just dropping the of war on the title, marks a significant shift in the presentation of this game from any other game in this year. John Borg mentioned the jokes in the chat here about maybe thinking about dusting off the Xbox One to give it a shot. This is the exact game that you want to do that for, from what I've seen. Because this puts Gears into an area that really no one thought that it would end up going to. Like, when I heard that there was an open world element to this, I was I was floored. I had no idea they were even trying to go this route. Because remember the last time we saw anything about Gears at E3 was whenever they were talking about their asymmetric multiplayer mode or their like revamped version of Horde mode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like these other things that like harken back to things that have been tried multiple times and have succeeded to varying degrees. I would argue asymmetrical multiplayer has succeeded to almost 0 degree in a lot of ways. So like it seemed like they were really holding on to these more played out systems without really talking about anything involving the campaign. And so to have this really refreshing version of the game be what you really get to chew on for the majority of it is outstanding. It is the perfect move to keep this series reinvigorated as it goes forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because Marcus Phoenix has always been like the hero of the series, and for it to finally move away from him into a new direction, um, it sounds a lot like the God of War reinventation, right? It's that they're taking something that you know and twisting it ever so slightly with and this is one of my favorite quotes ever. Imagine if Shadow of the Colossus had like 10 side missions and the horse controlled like Tony Hawk and you're pretty much there. Holy shit, that makes me want to get an Xbox One. I've never played a Gears of War game, but you know, is this coming out on PC as well?
I believe so. It should be coming out on the Windows Store.
It is. Microsoft
Yeah.
Windows is also releasing it, so fuck it. I might just, you know, get it on PC and really move that slider bar down.
Yeah. Let's turn off VSync and go to town.
Still maintain, man. We gotta build you a gaming rig.
Yeah. We both need to build game gear.
You're not wrong.
Seriously.
Rites of passage.
Mm-hmm. I've been pricing out shit. I'm actually at a point where I might be able to build something here in the next 6 months. So.
Here I am, an IT dork, and I've never owned anything but laptops.
I have a rig designed. I just need to save up the 2,200 that I need in order to build the beast.
Ow.
Build the beast.
And she will be the sexiest girl.
Yeah.
So go subscribe to Lady Merowyn. Give her all your monies. She deserves it so she can build the sexy gaming rig of her dream and also replace the parts and give the old parts to me. Anyway.
That's an idea.
On to the very last story. Oh no, we're not even talking about fucking WoW Classic. I am not getting on that boat. That boat has sailed. Fuck off.
I'm not gonna lie. Listen, just having a chance to not say anything, and even though it's like adverse to my normal routine in everyday life, last week, and just kind of like sitting back and listening to y'all go wax poetic about WoW Classic for about 15 minutes, that was pretty interesting. I have no desire to ever touch that game, any version of it, but I don't know. I like listening to two people who clearly have a history with it just rail on something.
Oh, dude, Brian, if you had been a fly on the wall on Sunday when Travis came up to visit Playwatch and I, Christ, we spent, what, 3 hours going over the glory days?
I can only imagine.
I wouldn't call them glory days. More like I invested a whole lot of time and energy into a sinkhole that kept dragging me further and further down into the abyss.
So you had to wait in line to get to the abyss, right?
Yeah.
But
Hey, That game actually demolished one of my computers. It ate the computer in its anger ate its own OS upon seeing the Lich King for the first time. It wouldn't even boot from the install disk anymore.
But on to our last story, and this is a weird one. Now, EVE Online's been doing a whole lot to rebuild itself lately, and one of their changes to implement grief counseling for players when they lose their first big ship. Only 10% of players lasted longer than 7 days, usually around the time that they lost their first ship. So they've decided that maybe we should jump in and fix that and bring people in and give a little grief counseling and make people a little bit happier about the world that they're in and that they can reinvest into themselves more. Oh, that's fucking fascinating.
In my 20s, I had a lot of friends that played EVE and played hard.
Mm-hmm.
And they, after much begging and pleading and threatening low-key, and finally got me to install it and try. I'm usually okay with banging my head against a wall with a game. You want to take a guess at the total time elapsed I put into that game?
4 hours.
45 minutes.
Jesus. From the Warframe player?
From the Warframe player, Queen of Grinding, and John Borg has seen the results of my grinding.
Also, phrasing.
I put in... Yeah... Damn it! I legit put in 45 minutes into this game. I cannot justify sinking time into a spreadsheet simulator. I can't do it.
I can understand why they're doing this. It's a lot along the lines of when Warcraft redesigned their low levels. It doesn't change the game itself in any meaningful way, but it does make players feel like they're part of something bigger, and I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Eve has a reputation as one of the more, I'd say, personable living ecosystems that the MMO is supposed to emulate in a lot of ways. So much so that real life stuff has come into play when in game wars are happening. I will always go back to the story of someone actually calling in something to have someone's power shut off in the midst of a battle, and that being the tipping point. There's actually a really good book talking about like some of the like interviews with players and like real life stuff that went along with the in game events that we all hear about with Eve. I'm gonna try and look it up real quick and figure out the name of it so I can give that to you because it's an interesting read. But this honestly, this is the perfect, or not a perfect way, but a really good start to kind of creating more excuse me more successful player retention. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It makes this honestly just makes Eve more of a community in a lot of ways. Like if they're able, like Linz was saying, like if you have someone there who's able to like commiserate with you and empathize with you and talk you through these sort of things and just kind of, even if it's just like to calm you down from anger, being like, well, this is stupid, like there's too high of a learning curve and blah blah blah, and like I will never figure this out. If it's just somebody there to just kind of talk you down a little bit and like help you realize like, no, like if you are actually genuinely interested in learning this game, like it just takes time.
Yeah, it's like with most MMOs, you're handheld through your first couple of levels. Like tutorial pop-ups everywhere. And Eve, it's just like, hi, here's the game. Good luck.
Yeah, like it is the most. It of course is the famously the most obtuse game
Oh, yeah.
to try and learn.
But also famously, there's a lot of really giving players. Even this article itself says Ideally, these moments should happen organically with other players. What happens a lot in EVE is that veteran player kills you, and if your reaction is a certain way, not just crying about it, but asking why, usually what happens is that the veteran player gives you money to buy a new spaceship. And if you show that you're willing to learn, they'll even invite you to fly with them. It's not, them talking bullshit. I have known some people who play EVE, and after burning someone hard, have gone back and be like, hey buddy, just buy yourself a new ship, and if you have questions, let me know. Here's what you did wrong. Go have fun.
Yeah, it's definitely not because of the community. It's more so just the structure of the game itself that people really can't wrap their heads around at first glance. And I think that having the community members be so willing to, accept new players and help new players along is a really effective tool that they have, considering that really not many other MMOs have that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I did find the book. If anybody is interested, apparently I did not realize this. There's a second volume of this coming out. It's called Empires of Eve by Andrew Groen. I'm just gonna put the link in the chat here for everyone who wants to check it out. It's a really, I've only heard excerpts from this book. I've been meaning to order my own copy of it. I keep forgetting to whenever I have the money, and when I don't have the money, I want it. So I'm definitely going to get this and give it a read, because I live vicariously through the random weird stories that come out of EVE every year, as opposed to actually experiencing them. And this is the best way to do that.
And I mean, in addition to the community in EVE, unlike a lot of the big MMOs out there where you need a beast of a computer to fully experience it, this one you don't. You need a slightly more not necessarily bare bones, but a moderate rig to run it and run it well, and it's graphically a very beautiful game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it takes a certain person to really invest themselves in EVE Online. They have to not only be the type of person that's willing to lose it all, because let's face it, you die in Guild Wars, you come right the fuck back. You don't lose your character. In EVE Online, you lose your ship. Your ship's gone.
And then you've got to grind the multi-millions again to get a new one.
And it is obviously easier because you have some more, resources at your disposal. But still, I'm kind of with CCB Games on this. That this is a moment of outreach, and it's an interesting way. I look forward to seeing how this new implementation really works out for them. But either way, this has been the last Thursday show for Mr. Video Games. We're moving to Mondays. I know, it's bittersweet. We all love Thursdays. Thursdays are a great day because then there's Friday and you get to be in love. But Mondays are cool too.
Rebecca Black there for a second.
Oh, hell no.
God, no.
But of course, we are Mr. Video Games, and we can't finish in this video game show like that. We have to declare the Mr. Video Games of Thursday, September the 5th, 2019. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Video Games. Something, somebody, something so great, so awful. You just look at it and go, that right there, that's video games.
Yep.
And the winner this week, John St. John. You can now pay for Dr. Mr. the Reverend Duke Nukem. John St. John himself will come to you, and he is now officiated and will run your marriage for well, not run your marriage, but your marriage ceremony. You can get married by Duke Nukem, or at least the voice, himself. And God, who would not want to be married by the voice of Duke Nukem?
Me. I'm all for John St. John getting out there and making his Skrilla, but Jesus Christ, if I ever if I do get married, I definitely do not want balls of steel officiating it. John St. John, maybe, but I do not want Duke Nukem up there.
He'd also be willing to do this as Big the Cat from Sonic.
Way more enticing. Way more enticing.
I never played Duke Nukem growing up, and so one of my first experiences of John St. John was him doing a reading of 50 Shades at a convention.
Nice.
And I swear to God, that man needs to make the audiobook. I would buy it. I would happily buy it.
So wait, John Borg, you're telling me that John St. John can marry me while John Dick is laying down the sweet, sweet songs as I exchange my rings of steel.
Oh my God.
Is the voice actor for Serious Sam really named John Dick? Because that is way too on brand.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Jesus Christ.
John
Dick.
John J. Dick.
I believe John Borg. I'm just still in awe.
Yep. I went and searched it up, and yeah, it's him.
The Honorable Reverend John Dick presiding.
Horror photographer and voice actor for Serious Sam. John J. Dick.
Odd that he doesn't include wedding DJ. Or strip club DJ. Oh, okay, cool. I hope he's an alright dude. John Borg. Saying that he's met John Dick through.
Oh yeah.
So I hope that he doesn't live up to his name.
Maybe he writes about sheep.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, you look at John St. John, and he is adorable.
That's certainly an image.
I would not mind having him, officiate my wedding. I think he's cute. He's a sweetheart. I would want to give him a hug because he looks like he's massive.
All right,
John St. John as a dude is pretty cool. I'm perfectly fine with that. I just do not want Duke Nukem anywhere near my wedding at all.
If I find the woman that will allow me to get married by the voice of Duke Nukem, I will know I've found the right one. Anyway.
Hey, love is patient, love is blind, love is weird as fuck. So go out there and find it.
This has been Mr. Video Game for Thursday, September 5th, 2019. Brian, do you have any last words for us this evening? Something not Big the Cat related?
Damn it, you fucking ruined it. I'm kidding. No. One thing that we didn't really touch on this week that was super, I view as super important within the video game world. And I actually wrote a story about this on Outsports. So if you want to go check that out, you can read all about it. But Sonic Fox came out as non-binary this week.
Wow.
Which is a super huge thing, not just for him. Obviously, it's a big thing for him, being able to actively express his gender identity for the first time publicly. But it honestly, in a age where Sonic Fox has already provided a really positive form of representation for a lot of the queer community within the esports world, specifically the fighting game world. Now he gets to do that, or they get to do that as a non-binary person. And he seems super. Okay, he said they, so I'm gonna get tripped up a little bit here. But they are like super excited about what is going to come from this. Like they've already been talking about changing up their look a bit, like keeping the mustache but exploring more feminine aspects of their presentation as a person, like in terms of like makeup, piercings, changing up clothing, like so they're like really getting excited about kind of exploring what this can really provide for them. Um, and of course, he's also or he or they is also going to just continue to be a dominant force within the fighting game world. They actually made it to another Mortal Kombat 11 Grand Finals over the weekend, and of course, like they're not going to be stopped. Like they've made every Mortal Kombat 11 Grand Finals this year so far, and they've captured the majority of those tournaments. So it's just a really really nice sentiment. There's a lot of praise for him on the internet, obviously, and to come out of that 72-hour stream that he did, where they and a number of other people talked about their own experiences growing up queer and coming to understand their own identities. Like I think it really gave them the chance to reassess how they want to do that and how they do see themselves and how they do want to present themselves going. And it gave them the courage to finally put it out there.
It's so, fucking cool.
Yeah, it's really, really great, and I could not be more happy for them. So, shout out Sonic Fox. NB all the way. You are fucking valid. Other than that, you can read my stuff at outsports.com, pacemagazine.com. We'll see.
We'll see about the other.
Superherohype.com. We'll see what happens here. And yeah, just check out all that stuff. I think that's it for the shameless plugs. Oh, also follow me on Twitter at WonderboyOTM.
Lady Merowyn, any final words for us today?
Well, I mean, I think our first affiliated stream was pretty freaking awesome. Also, it is September. So on Twitch right now until I believe midnight Pacific on the 24th, tier 1 subs are 50% off. The streamers get 10% more bits when you cheer 10 or more. Support your small streamers. Love them. Be kind to each other, and I will be back on Sunday doing the streamy thing. I have no idea what I'm going to play. Keep an eye on Twitter at LMerowyn. Our links are down below. But yeah, have a good weekend, guys.
But yeah, of course, on a note of what we are doing here at Dead Sun Entertainment, expect to see the channel a little bit more rebranded with new images. There will be chat emotes coming up for anybody who subscribes, likely starting next week, but if not next week, probably the week after. We already have some mock-ups from the person creating things for us, so probably expect that soon.
Yeah, they look pretty rad.
Yeah. And as always, you can follow us on youtube.com /CBGP Games. That's Change Before Going Production Games. And you can find us there. Our podcast always gets pushed to that channel, so if you miss any podcast or previous podcasts, you'll find them there. And soon, fucking soon, we'll finally be on podcasting services around the globe. I look forward to seeing all of you again on Monday. This has been Slackerkite. Thank you. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.